Class 7 subject social. Lesson number 3. Our changing Earth. Our changing Earth is not stable. The surface of the Earth is constantly being shaped and reshaped by the external agents, denudation like running water, wind, glacier, etc. The surface of the Earth is constantly being shaped, reshaped. That is why our present day landforms are diverse and varied. Study at a glance what are the movements and measure of landforms. Earth movements. The variation of the landform is result of two forces working intensively inside the earth and also the surface of the earth. The forces which originate inside the earth and bring changes on the surface of the earth are known as endogenic forces or internal forces. The forces which operate on the surface of the earth and bring changes on the surface are called exogenic forces or external forces. The endogenic forces try to uplift, subside the earth's surface, while endogenic forces try to level down the surface of the earth. The powerful endogenic forces operating from within the crust and also known as tectonic movements or earth movement. These earth movements are classified into categories: sudden movements, slow movements. Sudden movements. These movements are those which bring abrupt earthquakes and volcanic eruptions are the example of these movements. The changes are so sudden that a part of land may be fractured. River may change lights, curves, and land feature may be formed due to the lava eruption. Example, earthquakes. Slow movements. Some changes in the earth crust are slow, that it takes hundreds of years and also become noticeable. They are called slow movements. Slow movements are further classified into vertical movements, horizontal movements, ocean fractions. Vertical movements. In these vertical movements, ocean fractions they cause large scale of upliftment or subsidence a part of Earth's crust. These movements are often known as continental building movements. Horizontal movements are those movements which operate on the Earth's surface horizontally. Horizontal movements are two types, that is, forces of compression, forces of tension. Forces of compression, continental crust, lithosphere. These forces act on the rock strata from opposite directions, due to which the rock are folded into a series of anticlines and synclines. These forces are responsible for the formation of the fold mountains. The Himalayas, Rockies, Andes and Alps mountains have been formed due to the forces of compression. Are the examples of the fold mountains. Forces of tension. These forces operate the opposite direction, thus causing a fault or a fracture in the earth crust. The fractured rock strata either slide upward or downward along the fault line. The faulting this gives birth to new relief features like the Rift Valley or a black mountain. The block mountains of a land subside between two parallel faults. Then it looks like the valley of the Narmada and Tapi are the examples of rift valleys, while Himalayas and Satpura are the examples of block mountains. Major landforms. The landscape is being continuously worn away by two processes, weathering and erosion. Weathering is the breaking up the rocks on the earth's surface. Erosion is the wearing away of the landscape by different agents like water, land and ice, carried away from the transported by water, wind, etc. and eventually deposited. This process of erosion and deposition creates different landforms on the surface of the earth. Work of wind. An active agent of erosion and deposition in the deserts is, in deserts, you can see rocks in shape of mushroom, commonly called mushroom rocks. Winds erode the lower section of the rock more than upper part. Before, such rocks have narrow base and wider top. When the wind blows, it lifts and transports sand from one place to another. When it stops blowing in the sand falls and get deposited in low wood-like structure. These are called sand dunes. When the grains of the sand are very fine and light, the wind can carry it over a long distance. When such a sand is deposited in large area, it is called loess. Large deposits of loess are found in China. This is the picture of loess in China. Work of ice. Glaciers are rivers of ice which to erode the landscape by building and landstones to expose the solid rock below. Glaciers carve out deep hollows. As the ice melts, they get filled up with water and became beautiful lakes in the mountains. The material carried by the glaciers such as rocks, big and small, and slate gets deposited. These deposits of glacial the work of river. The running water in the river. When the river tumbles at the steep angle over a hard rock or a down steep valley, side it form a waterfall. As the river enters the plain, it twists and turns, forming large bends known as Meanders. Due to continuous of erosion and deposition along the sides of the meander, that is the meander of the loop come closer and closer, and due to course of time it cuts all formed from the river and forms cut off lake, also called Oxbow Lake. Here is a valley of floodplains. As the river approaches the sea, the speed of the running water decreases. It breaks up into a number of streams called distributaries. The river becomes a slow that is begins to deepest. Each distribution forms its own mouth. The collection of sediments from all mouths form a delta. Work of sea waves. The erosion and the deposition of the sea waves lead to coastal landforms. Coastal landforms. Sea waves continuously strike off the rocks, cracks develop, and over the time they become larger and wider. Thus follow the caves and formed on the rocks. They are called sea caves. All these cavities become bigger and bigger. Only the roof of these caves remain, thus forming sea arcs. Further erosion breaks the roof and only walks and left only these walls like features are called stacks. Steep rocky coast rising almost vertically above sea water called sea cliff. The sea waves deposit sediments along with the shores forming between earthquake is the result of the sudden release of the energy in the earth's crust, and that creates seismic waves. This lithosphere is broken down into a number of plates known as Lithospheric plates. When the lithosphere plates move, the surface of the earth vibrates, and these vibrations can travel around the earth. These vibrations are called earthquakes. Earthquakes are recorded with seismometer, also known as seismograph. The magnitude of the earthquake is measured on Richter, and the earthquake of the 6 is considered as very stronger and 7 as classified as a major earthquake. The place of the earth crust where movement starts. Volcano is a vein or opening in the earth crust through which hot molten rocks, ash and gases erupt suddenly. Landform is a result of two forces working simultaneously inside and outside the earth. The internal forces are called endogenic forces. The external forces are called exogenic forces. The endogenic forces are further classified into sudden movements and slow or secular movements.